Welcome to the Real Salty Podcast. Please join Stephanie and Caitlin as we dive into life in Florida, the good, the salty, and everything in between. We'll chat about real estate, family, sports, building a community, and all the unique things that make living in the Sunshine State so special. Plus, we'll bring on some amazing special guests to share their stories and expertise along the way. So grab your favorite drink and get ready to laugh, learn, and get a little salty with us.
Hey guys, welcome back for another episode of the Real Salty Podcast. Of course, we're here and it's Monday.
What a fun Monday for you.
Girl, how about the NFL this weekend?
Oh my God, what a fun Monday. We spent Michael wore his Commander's jersey every single day last week, like literally every day. And
did he wash it? You didn't wash it?
Yeah, I did. I washed it a couple times for him.
Good.
Yeah, I'd wash it at night and then air it out. But yeah, so he wore his Commander's jersey every single day, and it's such a Cinderella story that he lost. But anyway, yeah. So,
I know, but the thing is too, I even want to say before getting into my, good morning. I wanted the Commanders to win. Like everyone else in America, I think besides Detroit. And shout out to my Lions friends. I'm sorry. I know yours also was kind of a continuation of a Cinderella story, right? Like everyone banked on them. They were like, they're the one, man. They're freaking going. And like, I was, being cocky as a Chiefs fan, I was like, we'll see you there,
Yes, that's what everyone thought it would be.
To watch the Commanders, and it's like, oh, I don't know, maybe they can do this. And then, I think, and strike me down, but because I don't know, again, as much of the deets as I do with like my team, but the Commanders, the Lions, I mean, strike me if I'm wrong, but like the Lions had a lot of people hurt, right?
Yes, yeah, they had a lot of people hurt.
People in.
Yeah, they did.
They didn't play their best football, and the Commanders played their best football.
The Commanders just had a lot of synergy. I mean, they had a lot that they were just pumped up for. I mean, it was just a really good, a cocktail recipe, right, for this year. And the good news is that it'll be, I think, for off season, there's deliberate approaches. Whereas, I mean, I swear for the last 25 years, 27 years that I've even been subject to listening to Michael talk about the Commanders, as that's what it is. It's always, we need this, we don't like this. Well, it's true. I mean, that's pretty much what everyone was doing.
To, like it was some kind of water torture. Sorry.
Yeah,
instead of
pretty much.
Maybe privy to, or like, no, sorry.
Well, and as he said, like, I feel like I just got 3 seasons in one, right? Like he would literally give up on the team about week 1 or week 2, definitely by like Halloween. And he just got to keep playing. So, I mean, they're just going to be conversation on the off season. They're going to get some of the stuff that they need to get cleaned up. They have all the ammo to do it.
Exactly.
It's unfortunate that the score was what it was, because I don't think that was necessarily reflective in how close it was.
I agree. I agree. The final score in the Eagles game, just for who doesn't know, was the Eagles 55, Commanders 23.
Yeah.
And it was
like down by 11 for a second. Like just down by 11.
Much closer game than it wound up being. But due to the turnovers, it was a wham bam. And you got to give it to the Eagles. They capitalized on all of that. And they did like wham, bam. There you go. Like, don't give us a chance because we're going to do it. But.
Yeah. I mean, I said to Michael during the third quarter, like, the problem is that I do believe that every time the Commanders get down the field, as long as they don't turn it over, they can actually either get 7 points or 3 points. Right. But the problem is that Eagles were just doing it again too. So it was still just an amazing season. And I'm super happy for Michael that he got to have such a, and I'm excited for all the Commanders fans. So it's awesome.
Yes.
It's well, really
and
awesome.
I was going to say,
I'm excited for NFL.
Maybe it was because your mean ass wife butt wouldn't let him travel to Philadelphia.
It might have been. Right. It might have been. I actually would be terrified for him to go into the stadium with anything but green on.
Yeah, no. Maybe Detroit. I think he actually posted about the Detroit game. Like, who's going to Detroit with me? And then it was like, never mind. My mean wife won't let me go.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah,
yeah,
he
no,
did do
we
that.
would have
Yeah.
started a petition if he
Yeah,
tried to go to Philadelphia to watch. No, you're gentle. That's
exactly.
like you're Hufflepuff wearing commander jersey walking
Exactly.
into like,
Yeah.
no, we're
Yeah, the
not.
only thing he could have done is worn like an Ertz jersey because he used to play for Philadelphia. So, and they gave him a round of ovation like afterwards. So that would have been the only thing. But then
Okay.
Michael was already talking about, well, I'm definitely going to go to the Super Bowl. And so him and my son's girlfriend were looking up the tickets and it was like 11 grand. And so she was like, you could just sell your bike. We could do that. And he's like, what? So nonetheless, enough Commander talk. They did amazing. I'm super happy for them. It was a Cinderella story. And it kind of would have been like, how are y'all not able to beat them when this is like brand new coach, brand new owner, brand new quarterback, and all of you have been paying attention to like all of your, I don't know. So it's good. But anyway, congrats on the Chiefs. Really, really, I mean, it's so hard. I know that people like to complain about the refs and all of that stuff, but it's so hard not. I mean, when you watch Mahomes, you just are watching just greatness.
It
You
is.
are.
You I
You can't get mad
you
at it.
know, you might have been watching the same post game commentator that I did. And did you see that guy that put together the analogy of the Michael Jordan era and the Patrick Mahomes era? Okay, so not to copyright infringe or anything, but just because we're both like, yes, that literally almost encapsulates it
Yeah.
for me anyway.
Yeah.
But what we're talking about, there was a commentator, and strike me down if I'm wrong, but the gist essentially was the fact of, look, okay, let's take Michael Jordan, right? Like he was the epitome of his sport. And like anybody
Yeah.
that thinks about NBA in the 90s at that time are like, oh yeah, Michael Jordan. There were plenty of other all-star players, obviously, that people don't remember
Yes.
that don't roll off the tongue because they just happen, even though they were still amazing and threw up these points and they might be in the Hall of Fame for all the other reasons, but no Joe Schmo doesn't remember Michael Jordan.
No. Right.
Okay.
Right.
So it just is right now we are living in the Patrick Mahomes era. He is a
Yeah, that's
gift,
right.
okay,
He
that
is.
a gift and a curse, right? To some,
Mm-hmm.
because let's think
Mm-hmm.
about poor Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I like Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I think he seems like a nice guy.
Yeah.
I actually want the Bills fans to be able to have their wins. I can't imagine those 4 Super Bowls and then L and lose and
Yeah.
L and L and L. It's just, oh my God. And I won't anyway, neither here nor there, but Josh Allen just happens to be playing football at the exact same time as Patrick Mahomes.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And I don't
Well, they
care
need to
if
do
you don't like
something to
his
break that
hair. Yeah.
cycle. Like
If you
that's
don't
just the
like his hair,
definition
if
of
you don't like
insanity right there.
his voice, it doesn't matter.
It
Put some
doesn't matter.
respect on his name because at this point he's
His
already
dad
surpassed
bod.
and
That's
his
what he
dad
calls
bod.
it. He calls it
Exactly.
that. He
Put
looks
some
like he's just stiff. I mean, that's what's so funny about him is he wouldn't walk down the street and you'd go, that's an athlete.
But here's the thing, if you look at him
You
and
wouldn't
Kelsey,
say
to
that.
me, they're kind of built similarly in the fact that the boys have some thighs on them. So when
Who's
they
which one?
walk, they're both of them, Travis and Patrick,
Yeah,
when they
yeah.
walk, their thighs touch. Now I
Yes.
know that sounds odd, but when you look at, I don't know, just look at it next time and you'll realize, yeah, they kind of shuffle. They kind of
Yes.
like twisty shuffle walk, you know? But either way, you can shuffle all the way to the end zone, baby.
That's
Like,
right.
because they do. And I just want to say, like, I know I don't know, but I realize that, nobody wants us to win. Nobody wants us to win except for Chiefs Kingdom. But I have to say, as a Chiefs fan, I have remained incredibly quiet across socials,
Yeah, you
across,
have.
different things where I'm not, showing my fandom. And it's
Nope.
not out of like shame or anything.
Nope.
It's just honestly, I don't want to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I wake up the next morning to a W, Ginger Rogers is playing in my house, and I was like, "Good morning,"
Yeah, exactly.
and then immediately followed by Tech Nine. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but it's just like,
Yeah.
this Kansas City, let's do this. Like,
yeah. Well, I think that overall, it's magical. I think that the hardest part about sports is, well, one of the most amazing things about sports is that, I mean, there's no point in playing the game, and if there's a reason you play the game so that someone can win. There's a reason that you play against each other as opposed to it being unpredictable or predictable because you are hoping that the underdog upsets, the legend. But
Yeah.
It's like the Chiefs they just keep getting forecasted. I mean, what is it, 7 years in a row that like they're going to this? I mean, that's just crazy. It's crazy. And you mentioned
He's
Michael Jordan earlier. Like
yeah,
I grew up in Chicago in the 90s. Like I remember what that felt
you
like and
know.
how he was. I mean, my father acted like he was freaking God. Like it
Well,
was
and the thing is, that
so
too, you
amazing
were right there in
right there.
Chicago. Everyone else in the world, in the country that didn't live in
Yeah.
Chicago, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
It's Michael
But
Jordan.
yeah, no,
Like,
it didn't matter. Yeah.
even if you couldn't tell, was it Jimmy Kimmel, what the little street questionnaire things that used to
Hmm.
be on
Hmm.
David Letterman or whatever show? It's like, even if you couldn't answer the question, what color is a basketball? You knew who Michael Jordan
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. Well, and Michael was a Knicks fan, and so he didn't like Michael Jordan because who did when
Mm,
if you were playing against
of
him?
course.
And so that
Exactly.
was really the big thing. And then one of his good friends didn't like Michael Jordan when he was growing up, but now he likes his shoes, so now he likes Michael Jordan. So I mean, it's just difficult when you how could you it's the same thing in so many it really is. I mean, it's almost like that the era of the Patriots too with Tom Brady. I mean, it's just the same thing and
Now,
but it's exciting.
the one thing I want to mention, because with all this ref chatter and we're the favorites and all the things, and we get these and we get these calls and all the things like that, a lot of people don't realize too that if you look back at the stats, they actually, I think the most penalty yards for any team since 2019 has been called on the Chiefs every year.
Yeah.
Strike me down. I'm
No,
going
it
to
just
verify
really
that.
highlighted right now. It just
But,
really highlighted.
well, and then what was the point that you just said before I said that fun fact? You were talking about living during the time and
Yeah,
everything.
with Brady.
I mean, here's the thing with the Patriots, and I had been using that analogy. I was like, God, this must have been what the Patriots felt like during
Yes.
blah, 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 blah. You know what, though? I want to clarify here. The difference is the Patriots were actually caught cheating, people.
Yes.
Like, I
Yeah.
don't know how to stress that enough, but it's like not only with Deflategate and everything like that, but at the
Mhm.
same time, the coaches were actually videoing the
Yes.
practices.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, it was
I
shady what was
know.
going on. It was definitely shady. And I mean, I was in New England at the time, but Connecticut didn't care. Most of Connecticut didn't care for the Patriots because Robert Kraft used Connecticut to
I know.
get the stadium he wanted. But it's just when there's ever an era. I mean, it's like the Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys haven't done anything in so long.
Exactly.
There's no reason to hate them anymore, but people do. They just
Well,
hate
and
them.
correct me if I'm wrong, and you might not know either, but those four Super Bowls, right, that the Bills went to, that it was just like nope, nope,
Yeah.
nope. Wasn't that during like the Niners golden era?
Yeah, it was exactly.
Okay.
I was just actually going to say that was during the 49ers or people. I mean, it's just, I'm sick of them. Well, there's always going to be a team you're sick of. There just always is. It's just part of it. And you just happen to be on that
Well,
side. And I get that
and
side.
also trust me, there was, even in my what I consider in some of the life dumb fandoms of people that I know, I became a Kansas City Chiefs fan in 2007. So that's not
Right.
my whole
Yeah.
life. And
Yeah.
so, but I'll say, even in my tenor, if you will, that there's been some dark times. There's
Mm-hmm.
been some disappointing times,
Yeah.
let alone not making the playoffs, let alone getting knocked out of the first round of the playoff games numerous years. But I mean, coaching changes, four coaches in
Yes.
5 years, and interim coaches, and player on player violence, and murders with players that drove to the stadium and killed themselves in front of the staff. Like, I don't it, like I, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like there was plenty of dark times, and I don't want to get too down in the dumps about things, but it just
Yeah.
sheds a
Each
light to
team goes through that, right?
why it's so important too for concussion protocol when we talk about the long-term effects with their cognitive and
Mm-hmm.
reasoning and everything. And it's
Mm-hmm.
proven, it seriously, it takes its toll. So, another thing to mention, that Bills player actually, and I can't remember his name, and I might have to Google it in another window while we're actually recording, but the Bills player that missed the game with the Ravens, maybe even the game before that because of concussion protocol. He got hit in the game against the Chiefs, and then they took him out again. And I was like,
Yes. Oh, yeah. That was so sad. You could, like I said, because they took him out by a cart, and I was
mm-hmm,
like, oh,
mm-hmm.
no. I mean, he was
No,
just his
right,
eyes
yeah,
were closed. That was really sad. That was
yeah.
really sad. We talked about. I don't know if it was last episode or the episode before because we just keep talking about football. But one of the episodes that we were talking about was, I know, I love it. I just love it. Can't even stand it. We were talking about how Oh, the Bears coach got hired, Ben Johnson, and it was literally like the day before.
Yeah.
So interestingly enough, not that they would ever watch this podcast, but nonetheless, Jason Kelsey and Travis Kelsey had the same exact conversation on their podcast. And Jason asked Travis, like, what do you think about that? And like, do you think that it can derail the coaches from paying attention to the next game? And Travis Kelsey indefatigably said, no, it does not. You got to give these guys a chance. And he started naming off every single coach that has left, that he's worked for, that have moved on to bigger and greater things. He's like, you can't hold them back from that. He's like, you just can't. He's like, you can't deny them that opportunity. I promise you, it doesn't impact them at all. And I thought that was, I mean, we would never know. We would know from an inside perspective, of course, but I thought that was interesting that they not only talked about it, but then addressed it. And, Travis Kelsey said, absolutely not.
Well, that gives me comfort. And I'm also kind of like fangirling out because I'm like, you're right. It was like, we're pretty much the same podcast.
I don't know why they didn't have us on to ask us.
Maybe if we wore beards. Maybe if we both had beards, that's what's missing, probably. I don't know. But
it might be that.
You know what, but at the same time, and I love them, obviously, both of them, love that. But yes, that gives me comfort, because not that I lay awake at night thinking like, oh my God, a player is going to be heartbroken, his coach is breaking up with him, and he's like having anxiety about breaking up with them. But what I will say is like, that's really easy for you to say, Trav, because you know that Andy Reid ain't going nowhere.
I know.
You know what I mean? So it's
like, this is like last stop.
And both your brother and you played for him for almost the length of their careers. Obviously, I realize he left Philadelphia and he went to, Kansas City, but it's just like, that's really easy to say when you have a staple coach like Andy Reid, which
it is.
I can't imagine, strike me down, icicle chance in hell, him not retiring from the Chiefs. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or if you think about the amount of coaches the Commanders have had.
Yeah. The younger coaches that are moving up the ladder, right, from offensive coordinator or defensive coach and all the special teams and things like that, ultimately to get to that, what I would assume would be the end goal.
Yeah, their goal that they want, right? You'd think so.
Although there's plenty, I have to assume also there's plenty of like quarterback coaches out there where it's kind of like, I don't want to be the bar manager.
Because they don't want to uplift their family too, and they just want to make sure.
Yeah.
I mean, some just want to be a part of the game and want the job security essentially, or just the stability in their personal life too. I mean, taking on a coaching role, like I remember when I got out of college, I was thinking about going into coaching for volleyball, and I just knew that was going to be a tough life in some ways because of the travel. Not that I didn't end up traveling anyway, but like that it was just going to be, I would have to go where the next move is, where the next move is, where the next move is. And I thought that would be a difficult, I would struggle with finding a companion that could also, I mean, now you can work from home, but that was not an option for most people, 25 years ago. But that, I knew I would struggle with finding someone that could keep up with that same energy, right? So I can understand that, but I thought that it's interesting to hear that for sure, that it didn't impact it.
Yeah, but you know what? That's funny because you brought that up, and actually, not to keep our whole podcast talking about their podcast, but I saw this quick video where a viewer wrote in and asked them if the Chiefs wind up playing the Eagles in the Super Bowl. And I think this was before this bracket was even completed. I have to get caught up on my New Heights podcast. But the question was posed, Jason, will you root for the Chiefs since Travis plays for them and you're retired?
Yeah.
And he pretty much...
He was very quick to answer that one.
My God, no, he's rooting for the Eagles. He's like, first and foremost. And Travis was like, first and foremost.
Like, that's effed up. Yeah, Travis is like, that's effed up, dude.
You know what though? You know the
banter,
the badass good people from Philadelphia are like, rah!
He's like I'll root for Travis, but I'm not rooting for the Chiefs. I'm an Eagles fan.
He said, "I hope my brother has a good game." I don't know how your brother can be MVP and they don't win, but whatever. Okay.
Yeah, that's fair, I guess. I guess it's
I
fair.
think it's hilarious.
It is
though.
so funny.
I hope they get him another suite where he can. Oh, you know what? It's in New Orleans. It's not even going to be cold. I was going to say, I hope they get him a suite where he can jump out the window, Jason Kelsey out the window again with his shirt off.
Totally.
And just go like caveman. I love it.
Yeah. It's so funny. It's so funny. But it's all good. Michael and Brody are going to Pro Bowl next Sunday. So the good thing about that, yeah, because it's in Orlando, like I think it's now stationed in Orlando always. So
Interesting.
Yeah. So Michael and Brody are going to that next Sunday, which would not have happened if like Jaden Daniels is supposed to be there. So that's kind of fun because he wouldn't have obviously been there.
I was just thinking, I was like, well, they should have, exactly who he wants to see.
Yeah,
then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And any of the Bears players that Brody would want to see, we know they're there.
I was just about to say, remind me again of Brody's allegiance, since everyone in your house apparently just picked a Monopoly piece and AKA a team when they were born.
Yes. Pretty much, because Michael didn't encourage them to root for the Redskins. I mean, he was like, I can't encourage this madness. I can't. He's like, they can pick whoever they want.
It's an abusive relationship.
It's abusive.
For it?
Yeah, it's abusive. But we will say the one thing that is like a non-negotiable, we're all in solidarity to, is the Red Sox.
There you go.
So we got the next season coming up. But
families coming together over baseball.
It's not an option. It's just not an option.
Not football. Right.
Not football, which actually makes it kind of fun. And then plus when we had the season tickets for the Bucks.
All right, well, if I'm doing the math correctly, then that means that my precious baby girl, Flynn, is the only soldier left standing in that house with the Chiefs jersey.
Yes. She is. And last night she watches football. She enjoys football. But Flynn is a very serious, like, I need to do my schoolwork as well. Like, she's very studious and has like some pretty lofty goals for herself for the next couple of years. And
good job.
Studies more than, I think in one night she studies more than I did in my entire college career. So with that being said, like she studies like that all the night, where she has her alarm set for how many minutes she has on each subject. And it goes, I mean, it's so disciplined. I don't know where she got it from. She's clearly was switched at the hospital, and I'm so sorry for anyone else. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm sorry that you thought you
from heaven, and it's just like she already had this like built into her.
There's literally two geniuses out there that are like, oh my God, I thought our daughter would be like so smart. And they're not, she's not. And it's, well, because the kid got switched. We have your daughter. Come get your daughter, please. We've got your daughter. But anyway,
oh my God.
So she came out. I texted her and I was like, last 2 minutes, so that she would come out and watch the last 2 minutes. Then she was having serious havoc that no one was, like, we were like, we don't know who we're going to root for, because I'd like to see Saquon Barkley get a Super Bowl. I think that's amazing. He's probably the only one I care about. I find the Eagles really hard to root for otherwise. I guess at the end of the day, it's kind of irrelevant, except for it'll make my girl Caitlin happy too. But she was really upset that we weren't automatically picking her team over it. But, she doesn't care. She was like, scoreboard.
See, This is what I'm talking about. This one, and this isn't, again, and we're, some of us aren't actually trying to rub it in.
No.
We're just basking in the glory of our
just
time.
Just enjoying it.
In the time and on the sun right now that we have, because nothing is forever.
No.
People. I mean, come on.
No.
And I you know what? Strike me down. I know I might catch a lot of flack for this, but it's harder for everyone. You know what? Maybe I shouldn't even say it. I was going to, commit, Caitlin.
Commit.
I feel like right
Caitlin,
now,
commit.
The team commit. I feel like right now, in this time, in this era, the teams statistically are better in the AFC than the NFC.
Yes.
It's easier when you look at the final B's and L's, the wins and losses. It just, and I realize not everything's on paper, but it's just,
agreed.
It's harder. So then it makes me feel bad as like the fan of the big brother that keeps hitting the middle child, the Bills, and then beating the shit out of the third one, the Ravens. And it's like, meanwhile, the Broncos and the Steelers, I think
that was one of the things that Michael had said last night was like, if the Bills weren't going to beat the Chiefs, then then they should have just let Lamar take care of it. Like, I mean, why did they beat them then if that wasn't going to happen? Because the Ravens played so well too that it was sad that they didn't make
I'd
it
like to
farther.
remind Michael that this isn't, much to contrary popular belief, this isn't a script that the writers can just rewrite after the last rehearsal.
You would think
You know
so.
what? Yeah.
You would think so.
Why didn't the Bills just sit down and fold like a brown paper bag if they didn't have any intention of actually beating the Chiefs? Yeah. You're absolutely right. Why didn't they bow?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh, it's super exciting. 2 weeks in 2 weeks. That's exciting. And New Orleans.
In 2 weeks. But that's exciting that you guys get to go to or they're going to go to the pro thing. That I've always actually wanted to do that. But
what are you drinking? What is that? I don't know if I've ever seen you drink. What is that?
Okay, well, it's not that good anymore. I know you're usually with.
Oh my God, is it leftover from lunch?
Here. So this is a leftover lemonade from Chick-fil-A with, on top of the ice after finishing, this Mela watermelon water. Have you had this?
No. Is it alcoholic?
Shocking. It is not.
What's the point?
No, it's what girl every day. No, but what the point? I guess this is like, I don't know, is the coconut water apparently supposed to hydrate you a lot better.
But it's usually not in a can.
Well, normally, apparently the gourd de choice now of hydration is a watermelon. So I don't know how they get it out, but it's watermelon water. And this
is it carbonated?
No. And it's got little pieces. You got to shake out of it. And it's got electrolytes and antioxidants and everything. Well, pulp, I guess. I'm not saying like chunks of watermelon, but it's kind of like a little.
That kind of grossed me out for a second.
I know. I shouldn't have said chunks.
Well, have you seen that there's this, I don't know what the name of it is. I think it's called Delta. Have you seen that? It's like weed water.
Oh, are you talking about that Delta 8 or whatever the kids are doing now?
And you can, you can choose the level. There's like, it's not that what they're called, but I'm just going to say like a little bit. How do
you choose the level? Do you squeeze the bottle and more goes up into the bottle?
No, it's in a can as well. It's in the can. So you choose what like amount of weed. I'm so not into this. So I'm totally not using the right words. And I probably should have actually done some research before talking about it. But
tell me our viewers don't know that we just go off the cuff without telling my viewers.
Exactly.
We don't research things, people. Like, I'm sorry.
But it's called Delta.
You deserve better.
You do deserve better. So I have to know what these things are, because if people walk into them with a jet ski business and like they have a Delta in their hand, they obviously can't go out after they've been drinking weed water.
Gotcha.
And I know that there's a technical word for it, but it's just funnier to call it weed water. And so you pick your dose. There's 3 different doses and you pick it. Like there's like a mild, a medium, and then a lot.
So the cans are like mild, medium, high.
Yes.
Not like a layering. Like if you drink one, you're this level, and if top it with 2 and you should be here. So it's like, okay. All right.
It's almost like if they put the proof, like if it was put in the alcohol, like the proof goes up. There's 3 different levels, but I guess that they sell them at another place in John's Pass, but the wine shop sells them now.
Do you have to be 21 to buy these things?
Yes, they're in the alcohol cooler.
Interesting. Okay. Because I've seen apparently, I don't know why, but Facebook, and now it'll probably pop up even more, but I've seen the Facebook ads for like the mushroom infused, right? That are just supposed to give you that kind of like the calming effect,
organic,
but none of the THC properties of anything like that. And it's a better alternative to drinking and all the things. And I don't know why I just said that in that mocking voice. I just played that back in my head. I was like, yeah,
you're doing a commercial. I don't think you're going to be hired for their commercial.
No,
that wasn't in a salesman voice.
Tell me you were raised in an Irish Catholic family without telling me. I'm like, who doesn't want, dry January? It's like, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Damp January.
Happy for everyone that's participating with that. But, I see, here's my thing. The fact that We didn't plan on talking about this either.
No.
In the state of Florida, marijuana or the weed water, the real weed water, as my counterpart calls it, you have to have a medical card for it. It has been brought up in the recent ballots, but unfortunately it just didn't pass for recreational again in November by the supermajority. Barely. But with that said, so this derivative that has the same effects, but somehow can be legally distributed without it at regular places,
Yes.
like you said, convenience stores and such. This is, to my knowledge, something that's called Delta 8. Now, the brand of the drink you're talking about, I guess, is like Delta, but
yeah, maybe it's the same thing. I'll have to look and see.
The thing is, the Delta 8 thing, they put in everything. It could be an edible, to my knowledge. And again, keep us current, kitties. But I think it's like basically something you can put in gummies and tincture, like liquids and drinks, obviously.
And it's just not hitting that level where it's illegal.
But it somehow goes around the actual marijuana, but it still has, I don't know.
It still has the kick to it.
Good people will tell us, and obviously they have to be carded that they're over 21 to get it. I don't know. Maybe my old butt should just trust and try it, but I'm just kind of like, I don't know about all that.
Yeah, I don't know about all that either. We did get in the mail the other day a cannabis petition, so they're going to start it up again.
They're going to try again. Yeah. They should try again because the super majority percentage is what, 60%?
Yes, I think it was like 59.3 or 4, something like that.
Yeah, it was either 59.3 and then the other one was like 58.8. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. So
yeah, I guess just not ready yet. I guess just not ready for it. But yeah, so okay, well let's shift just to, do a quick real estate update since technically that's our purpose. Technically, it's our purpose. And now Caitlin fell on the floor because she doesn't want to talk about real estate because that's what we do all day long.
I just had to get a refill. Thank you.
She needs the drink to talk about real estate.
You said it. You're like, since this is actually what we do for a living.
Yeah, since this is actually what our hustle is.
Our hustle is. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, I know. What's going on with you right now?
It's 2025. It's a couple weeks into January.
Yes.
What's the client out there, do you think, right now? Like what's got you busy all day? I mean, I know you do 15 different things, and that's just on a regular Monday morning. But what keeps you busy right now along the beaches?
Right now regarding real estate, what's kind of keeping my phone ringing, we have a lot of the new builder projects here along the beaches that are new construction.
Yeah.
Either newer projects of condominiums or townhouse style condos that are getting ready to close.
And they were all impacted too.
They were, however, because of their newer construction design, they all performed beautifully.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to put quotes on that, but like, for example, the townhome style, yes, of course, there was a little bit of damage in the drywall in the first floor garage area and into the foyer up to the stairs. But the main living's on the second floor. It's made out of the up-to-date materials necessary. So it was a quick fix. The condo building specifically that's out here, the first 2 floors are garage. So the lobby area was impacted. Of course, there's landscaping destroyed and such like that. Pool needed to be.
Yeah, that's definitely a tall tale sign when you go to a home, is looking at the landscaping.
And so right now, I have a lot of people that are interested in it that were affected from the hurricanes. And then you also have a lot of people that are still interested in investing in the area that don't want to play the game of either building something new on top of land that they can get or, fixing something that had already been affected, even though it can be. So they just want to go straight to the safety net of these newer construction builds. Right. And it makes them feel warm and fuzzy inside, especially if they're not going to be here full time. So that's what's keeping me really busy, is we have some of those things that are coming about and closing out new project wise. And then also, to tell you the truth, people that are on the other side of it that were affected with their homes here over the hurricanes late last year, and listings, or should I list now?
Yes.
What's keeping my phone ringing. So that's really what's going on in my life. But it's just another day as the post hurricane beaches turn.
Right.
It's just a continuation of every day, and a lot of people still need our help.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of this stuff was already, there was a lot of people that were concerned about Madeira Beach changing too much prior to the hurricanes, as it felt like there was a lot of development and stuff going up. But I think that some of it was really necessary, and there's a lot of people that are going to have to change what they already had anyway. And I was in Clearwater on Saturday, and there's areas of it that are so bougie, and that's kind of like Madeira Beach will never lose that like that fishing community, because John's Pass will always keep it at its roots. But there are a lot of there's specific guidelines that Madeira Beach will not move away from to make sure that it remains beachy, but at the same time that it falls within the standards. We're never going to see these sky rises that are just, to the sky like you see in Clearwater. And you're talking about a couple of the different buildings, and they're fortresses, and that, who doesn't want to invest in something that they have security for and they have security about? And one of the things that we saw a lot of people have to deal with is they couldn't believe what their home value was, not their land value, but their home value was when this hurricane happened. And it isn't always something that we didn't have to talk about it before, because it didn't matter.
No,
it was not impacted. Right. But from an investment standpoint, the prices are lower than it's the market in general, just the world in general, but the prices are considerably lower than where we thought that they would be post-election. But that's because the hurricane was impacted. And so for me, if you want to be in and have like a little slice of heaven, but even that don't want to live here, you don't want the responsibility of everything. I think it's a perfect time to be jumping in one of these investments right now. There's incentives everywhere.
It's true.
There's all these different things to kind of get you moving. And most of the builders would say, let's just get to the table and start talking about it.
Yes.
But
yes. And it's funny when you talk about the builder being like, let's come to the table and talk about it. So with that, a lot of the, I would say the developers that we're working with that, we work at Century 21 Bagans, we're purely the listing agent on this. You know what I mean? Yep. So there's individual owners that own the project and are developing it and have hired us to sell it, right? So with that being said, though, they understand what's going on right now. So for example, if we have a person that is interested in buying something, that we have to quilt work patch it together, where it's a combination of combining their flooded out property here in Madeira Beach at its value of what it currently is in the market, on top of they're going to, put down $200,000 in this. And maybe then we're even still talking about seller financing.
Yes. Yeah.
Where the seller's willing to write the mortgage, because this is a weird deal and no lender is going to traditionally lend to them because they still have a mortgage on the destroyed property. You know what I mean? Like we're getting creative in how can we go about helping people still. Now, this might be, something where it's like, look, we might not be able to negotiate your pre-occupancy before closing, but we'll list the property, take this as the escrow money. We'll give you 45 days. You still have your FEMA voucher to get you there. And then once this all comes down and you get your check, then we list the property and that sells, we'll put it together and we'll get you in where we want you to be.
Yeah.
Or where you want to be.
Yeah.
I should reword that, where you want to be.
Yes.
Because ultimately, in a traditional market, these sellers could be like, kick rocks. Show me the money.
Yeah.
I'm
going to list it by myself. Why is this complicated?
I got 4 behind you that's offering me full asking, and it's either a conventional mortgage or they have the cash now. It's my money. I need it now, kind of slogan, but that's not what's going on. So I am encouraged by that, because you still see that slice of humanity that's happening, because we all haven't forgotten, and we all certainly are still going through quite a bit. So, yeah. I like that.
Yeah, I think that's I think it's exciting that there's activity. I mean, we still kind of hold true to just take a breather before you make any rash decisions.
Yes.
Like we still hold true to that, because you do see some of that still going on, where it's bottoming out and then it's creating a comp that's not necessarily favorable for the actual value as well as the seller in whatever situation that they might have. But so for me, I'm definitely seeing the buyers get off, kind of the sidelines as to where they were before. And it's not quick, and it's not even that house will make me move. It's a little bit more about the price. And what is
Mm-hmm.
so difficult right now is that most of the listing agents, will either just be super aggressive and say, this is what you need to price it at. And the seller will say, okay, I can do that, blah, blah, blah. But that's a very rare percentage, if you ask me. I feel like most of the listing agents, they have the conversation with their sellers. We can try it, but
Yes.
this is what I think it'll sell out. And so we're going to need to make some movement to get to that point. And so as the buying agent, one of the things that I've had to be so sensitive is that even if I think the home is valued at this, but I see where the discrepancy is, where the seller's at, I am so careful about that approach to make sure that I don't insult the realtor, first of all, and then insult the seller, because they're still coming to reality of, maybe I should have sold 2 years ago when I started thinking about it, or, oh my gosh, is this the wrong time to sell? If I should have been waiting 6 months, would my volume change? And it's so difficult to navigate through that. And it's more than ever, I've had more conversations prior to writing a contract, to just have the conversation with the realtor to make sure that they're not going to be upset with the offer that comes across, and they don't look at it as me being cutthroat. And I actually have even said, like, I don't even know if this makes me a really bad realtor, because I'm not totally like just taking my client's price and saying like, yep, we're going to make that offer. I said, but I want to make sure that like we get to this table and talk about it, because that discrepancy is so large still right now. And that's just because of the just everything that has happened. Well, we went so high in Florida. We went ridiculously high. I mean, a lot of people made a lot of money, and a lot of people lost a lot of money. We were spending money like we were drunk monkeys on real estate. It's evened out. I wouldn't even say it's crashed. It's just evened out and moved back to 2019 terms. It is. It's such finicky, when you said that you have all these like little pieces to get you to the closing. It doesn't. Every sale is like that right now.
It really is. And the amount of times that there's opportunities for renegotiation, rediscussion, renegotiation, negotiation. There's so many times where I feel like if somebody didn't have a real estate professional that was truly fighting for them in their corner and are able to catch these things, someone could so easily be taken advantage of without even realizing it until you get to the closing table. And even then, I mean, let's all sit here and be honest with ourselves. Even as professionals in the business, you and I aren't going to sit there and have some title agent read off, go, this has to do with your liens and this has to do with this. If we haven't found it by then, chances are that buyer's not going to find it, and we're not going to find it because we're probably, and I'm not saying you and I, but that type of agent, right?
Yep.
So how many people also don't even realize until the closing table itself, or something happens and they realize that they got taken for a fool for something that wasn't negotiated appropriately, that was found in the inspection, or some repair that the house needed. So the pitfalls, the trap doors that might not open right there and then on the good people that are in a transaction without the appropriate help, right?
Yep.
Is not something that someone's going to see all the time. And we're also not saying that you don't have those. I've heard they exist somewhere, but like those perfect transactions where it is just, here's my cash, we're closing tomorrow, I don't give a like, tell me the tax record, I'll take it as is, she mine.
Yep.
Those are very far and few between.
Mm-hmm.
And then even then, for that cash buyer, let's hope that what he bought at face value essentially is exactly what he thought he was getting.
Yep.
And I wouldn't even advise my client to do that.
No.
But again, there's just so many opportunities it's like chutes and ladders.
It
And I'm not
is.
trying to scare people from not getting it, asking questions and investing in real estate, which again has been proven throughout time as a successful type of investment.
Mhm.
It's not something that, normally, like you said, so much money was flying around here. It was like we were in one of those glass tubes and they had painted us with pine tar and sent us in there
Yes.
like, good luck. It was a free for all, right? And I feel like in a lot of areas of the country, it was like that during COVID, but it's calmed back down. I feel like also the influx when it comes to the investment portfolios that we're purchasing in our area too, they're hurting. So now with the market, it really truly is a buyer's market. And I don't know about you, but personally, except for the horrible, as we refer to them now, scum sucking carpetbaggers that
Yeah.
are driving around the decimated beaches, that's not the case in Seminole.
Mm-mm.
That's not the
No.
case in the X flood zones. That's not the case in
No.
people still want to be here. Pinellas County is the most highly populated county. I mean, we rival when it comes to basically like the population density, LA County, like,
Mhm. Yes.
outside of greater New York and stuff. It's crazy when you
Yeah.
think about actually our density. I realize I'm rambling, but
No, you're exactly right.
I still feel like it's a buyer's market. You just need to make sure you have the right representation because there's opportunity here right now. If you can afford to buy, I would. I
Mhm.
would.
I
I
would,
would. And
yeah, I definitely
even
think
if it's
you just have to be
even if it's not
really,
something you can, yeah.
you have to
Even if you set it and forget it,
yeah,
like
keep
land,
someone
set
in your
it and forget it.
pocket that is going to not be the emotional piece of it, right? Like that, you go and you find a house and it becomes emotional. It's impossible for it not to be sometimes, but you've got to have someone that keeps you afloat to go, this is not the right investment for you. I know it feels like it's the right one right now, but it's not. And then you also, like, to what you're even saying, is that you've got to have someone that is going to tell you that this isn't the price that we should be paying. And these are the reasons why, like, not only do I think it should be priced this way, but also that they have it where they have it. Like, and you have to be, this is people's money. This is, in a time where, what are they calling it? Some sort of egg crisis, like where things are expensive and, that people want to be holding their money near and dear to them versus just spending it like crazy. And it's so, you definitely, if it's time to make a move, I would make a move. That's for sure. I think it's time to get off the
I would,
sidelines and start
yeah,
looking and start the process and just see what's out there and see if there's anything that's going to motivate you because you like the price and because you think it's the right fit for you.
yeah. And I would say too, or, if you don't have life happening to
Yeah.
you and you don't feel you're in a position where I might actually be able to be a player in the game right now when it comes to buying a lot on the beaches.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, it might be something that maybe the structure that was existing on it is going to be demoed already when I acquire the property, or maybe that's something I negotiate in where I say clear the lot
Yep.
and give me or leave me $15,000 in credit for the
Yes.
demolition, scrape the lot, and then
Right.
wait
Just wait.
because underneath all is the land, to
Yes.
quote Jim Beggins. And it's just within the next, what we're hearing from the industry professionals that we have close proximity to that are letting us know, and for anybody else out there listening,
Yeah.
it's not just the people within our company, even though there are very trusted people, knowledgeable people within our company that we do trust and listen to. 12 to 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
This market here is going to be a totally different market.
Totally different.
24 months from now,
Especially if we go through a season that there is nothing that happens.
and see,
And
that's
knock,
the other
knock,
roll
knock.
of the dice.
Yes, it is the
And
roll of the
that's the other
dice.
roll of the
It
dice
is.
because, I know we've been chatting the good people's ear off, and I would hate to end like this, but like personally, I'm very excited because
Me
I've
too.
gotten the news as of today, Monday, January 27th, that we're probably about a week and a half, maybe, don't strike me down, from being able to be back into our first floor
That's
waterfront
awesome.
living area.
Oh my
Yay, very
gosh.
excited. But I was actually
Then
walking
you'll be able to
through.
breathe and you'll be able to think clearly. And then you'll be able to say, okay, what are we going to do now? We can make some decisions.
We will make the
Yeah.
decisions. But I was literally walking through today with a professional acquaintance a vendor that we work with here, great local cleaning company, Elite Cleaning Services with Bailey and Justin, shout out. I brought her in. We work with them on a lot of our new builder projects for final construction cleans out. They do our professional offices here. But anyway, brought her to my homestead because I wanted to get a quote on basically both of the units having the after construction clean,
Yes.
right? Wiping down drywall, all the things, whatever. And so she came over today and we were talking a little bit about it. And she was like, that's very exciting that you guys are going to be able to get back in there. And so it just,
so awesome.
But at the same time, her and I immediately both kind of had that. I was like, yeah, God willing, we'll.
Yes. Make it through a season. Yeah.
And so it was just like all of us kind of looked like that beat dog at each other. Like, surely God wouldn't do it again right after. Like,
right.
back to back to back. We can't. Maybe just a little scary. And, like, I hate to say it, but batter up Fort Myers. It's your turn again. Or the Keys or wherever. Like,
but I think, didn't we talk about it like on a podcast forever ago, like the hurricane days that like you can get tax-free stuff? Like, I think we talked about that last summer. I bet your bottom dollar that people will be listening to that this year.
Girl.
Right?
I'm going to rent a pod just to stock up on the supplies this year. Like, you want to go in on a pod with me?
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
Let's do it. Yeah. We're going to have to buy a lot, actually, off of Oakhurst where it's 30 feet above elevation. We'll put the pod that we'll buy on it, and then you and I will go halvesies on it. Done.
Well, we'll just put it on. My parents live off of Oakhurst. We'll just put it on their lot.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. Done. Motion settled.
Now that we have our plans for hurricane preparedness.
God help us all.
I know.
I don't even want to think about that. What we're going to think about is that it's a beautiful day in the Chiefs kingdom, baby. And you know what? Batter up America, because if you want to root for the Eagles fans, I was going to say, or you can root for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
God's team.
Or you could just root for Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
Or just
100%.
the snacks.
Yeah.
I mean, the snacks are good too, usually for Super Bowl. So
I guarantee somebody knows some female or even male in their family that will be watching for Taylor. So just Brad's, Chads, and Dads, calm down and just fall in line.
Yeah, I'll be watching too. I'm okay with that. I just want to see what she's wearing.
Did you see her coat? It was actually really cute. I kind of want to go buy it. Once I get 30 grand free, I'll get right on that.
Yeah. Then we have to change our slogan then. Somehow incorporate Louis with working for a Louis.
The real bougie podcast.
Yes.
Oh, that doesn't even sound right for us. I don't think it's not going to work.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. They aren't selling Louis at Sam's Club.
Oh, damn, man. I'm going to have to switch to Costco, aren't I? That's what it's going to be.
I saw Sam's Club on TV, one of the commercials. I don't know which game it was because it was just a blur. But they said actually like women's clothing. And I was like, that's Margot Caitlin. Yeah, they actually talked about it.
I'm not actually wearing anything Sam's Club today, but more often than not.
You would literally not know. That's the amazing thing, is that you wouldn't know that it's from Sam's Club. It's hysterical to me.
Well, and it's like, I hate that it's kind of like the Devil Wears Prada, where like, America has like bought out like Vince Camuto. That used to be this like high-end designer, but like you can get the Gulf of America. Vince Camuto. Camuto, thank you. You were in the thing. His shit's at Sam's Club now. Oh. Yeah. And granted, it's not what's going to be right off the runway if he even still does runway. And he probably has sold his soul to, the Walford or the Walmart family.
Yes.
God, what is it? Walton family in Bedmill, Arkansas. But whatever. Apparently Vince is down. So, and then you can get like the Gap, Old Navy, which is all owned by the Gap, right?
Yeah.
Like Banana Republic parent company, whatever.
The Fisher?
I don't know. I don't know who they haven't bought now.
I know.
Express.
No, that's a whole like Ohio-based group, and the Gap, as I worked there for a really long time, was out of San Francisco. It was a Fisher family was the name of them. They started with Levi's and Records. That was their original concept. But yeah, I worked for them for 10 years. Yeah, really long time. It was fun. It was really fun. It was a fun ride while I was there. Yeah, Gap and Banana were kind of their two stores, and then they opened up Old Navy in 2004. I had already left the company at that point, but I definitely can.
Old Navy before 2004, because I remember shopping at
Maybe
Old Navy before.
94.
Okay, I
94
was
it
like,
was, yeah. Yeah, you're right. It
yeah,
was 94. And I mean, I definitely have interviewed and thought about going to Old Navy because they're just a machine,
yeah,
but
they are,
they're
they
really,
are.
yeah, but yeah, then the other group, I used to know this like the back of my hand. I don't know it as much anymore, but they were more of a Columbus group. That's the one that owned like Victoria's Secret and
Okay.
yeah, all of
Well, that
them.
makes sense. Like that little song that Victoria's Secret is a creepy old man in Ohio, or whatever those lyrics are. You heard that song, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that is actually the way it went down.
Stephanie's like, I'm pretty sure I met him. No, I
I'm
was
pretty
kidding.
sure that's the way it went down.
All right.
Okay.
Well, before we get too far down the rabbit hole about how we've been lied to our entire time about what the aesthetic of beauty is, we'll go ahead and wish the good
Exactly.
people a good night. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have any kind of topics or questions that you would like to see us answer or talk about on the podcast, please feel free to reach out. We will be actually sharing more social content very soon.
Very soon.
Very soon. So stay tuned, because we're going to have all kinds of little snips and clips that we'll be able to share with you guys, hopefully to entice you to tune in more. But in the meantime, I hope you guys take care of yourselves. I know that's a really weird thing for me to say, but there's a lot of things going out in the world out there. So take care of you, take care of everyone. And other than that, Stephanie, anything
see you next week
for the good people? We will see you next week.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Oh.